you're going to get killed in that thing. Quite a horrifying prospect.
A terrible accident occurred in the depths of the North Atlantic Ocean when a deep-sea submersible that was carrying a crew of 5 people and was given the name Titan met a catastrophic end close to the remains of the Titanic, which had sunk more than a century ago.
The mini-submersible Titan.
The Titan Submersible.
The Titan sub disaster.
The submersible Titan, the missing sub.
There was a lot of concern about this outfit. And
Oceangate, the herald of deep-sea exploration, sought to pierce the ocean's veil with their Titan submersible. A vessel designed to conquer depths, it was the embodiment of human ambition. But on June 18, 2023, the abyss stared back. The Titan imploded, swallowed by the very depths it sought to explore. This is not just a dive. It's an odyssey into the heart of the ocean's enigma. The depths are calling. Will you answer? Before we unravel the events of that fateful day, let's take a step back to understand the origins of Oceangate and the vision behind the Titan submersible. Rush's insatiable curiosity and love for the underwater world led him to the depths of the ocean. With a background in scuba diving and an affinity for underwater exploration, he ventured into the realm of submersibles. In his mid-40s, Rush began tinkering with a kit for a single-person mini-submersible, piloting it in the shallow waters near his home in Seattle. These early experiences ignited a flame within him, compelling him to dive deeper and explore further. He built his fortune by investing in tech companies and decided to venture into the submersible industry. As we grapple with the tragedy of the Titan, it's impossible not to draw parallels with another maritime tragedy that has captivated the world for over a century. Let's anchor for a moment at the early 20th century, where a colossal ship named the RMS Titanic embarked on a journey that would be etched in history forever. The Titanic was a British-registered ship, part of the White Star Line, which was owned by a U.S. company. The ship was built in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and was the largest and most luxurious passenger ship of its time. Launched on May 31, 1911, the Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York City on April 10, 1912, carrying 2,240 passengers and crew. However, the Titanic's voyage was destined for calamity. On April 15, 1912, after striking an iceberg in the North Atlantic, the Titanic sank, taking with it over 1,500 lives. This disaster shook the world and remains one of the deadliest maritime tragedies in modern history.
Whatever happened that evening is simply terrifying and disturbing. Their fate was written and there was no chance for them to escape the calamity.
Now let's dive into the depths of the ocean where the Titanic rests and make a connection with the Titan submersible. The Titan submersible, a modern marvel of engineering, was designed for deep-sea exploration. Just like the Titanic, the Titan was a symbol of human achievement. The Titanic's wreck site, lying at a depth of about 12,000 feet, is a place that the Titan submersible had the capability to explore. The Titan could have been instrumental in studying the Titanic's wreck, creating detailed 3D models, and retrieving artifacts for research and preservation. With the stage set and history as the backdrop, the Titan embarked on what would become its final voyage. But how exactly Titan worked? And if it was so perfectly designed, then what caused it to implode? According to the specifications of the Titan, it was developed to be able to maintain its submerged state for a period of 96 hours. Titan is a cutting-edge submersible that features an innovative structure made possible by the use of filament-wound carbon fiber and titanium. The submersible has a weight of 9,072 kilograms, 20,000 pounds, when it is floating in the air, and it has been specially ballasted so that it will have neutral buoyancy when it is on the bottom. The passenger hull of the Titan submarine is made of a blend of carbon fiber and titanium, which sets it unique from other types of submersibles. Due to the ingenious combination of materials, the overall weight of the vehicle is reduced greatly when compared to vehicles largely constructed of steel or titanium, which is a metal that is both lightweight and robust. The size of the Titan is comparable to that of a minivan, and it provides a similar amount of capacity for people. Images seen inside the Oceangate facility reveal a structure that resembles a metal tube and provides residents with a flat floor and curving walls against which they can sit. There is very little headroom, but there is lighting given over your head. There are also no chairs. Due to the limited space, both movement and the ability to stand up straight are constrained. Even if it is brought back to the surface, the submersible's occupants won't be able to leave on their own because the exterior is bolted shut. This is done for safety reasons. The ship is furnished with fundamental conveniences such as a toilet and a provision for food and drink, such as sandwiches and water. Oceangate has rented an icebreaker that had once been used by the Canadian Coast Guard so that it can be launched from that vessel. This icebreaker was responsible for transporting a large number of people, as well as the submersible, to the North Atlantic wreck site, which made it possible for the Titan to perform repeated dives. Oceangate highlights the fact that the Titan is the largest deep-diving submersible and has an unequaled safety feature that continuously analyzes the hull's integrity while each dive is being conducted. The Titan has the capability to descend to a depth of 4 kilometers, 2.4 miles, according to documents that were submitted by Oceangate to a United States District Court in Virginia that is monitoring things linked to the Titanic. In its filing for the month of April, the corporation disclosed this information. In the event that an emergency arises, the Titan is outfitted with safety devices that make it easier for it to ascend. These pre-installed devices contain the capacity to let off of sandbags, lead pipes, as well as inflating balloons. The design of the submersible prioritizes the protection of its occupants by ensuring that these safety features can be activated even if all of the passengers are rendered unable to move or speak. This cutting-edge engineering highlights the significance of being prepared and mitigating risks, providing a potential lifeline for the Titan and its passengers under perilous circumstances. During the course of the filing, Oceangate mentioned that the Titan had already done more than 50 test dives, some of which were performed at depths comparable to those of the Titanic. These test dives were conducted in a pressure chamber in addition to deep waters close to the Bahamas. During the voyage that Oceangate undertook in 2022, the submersible experienced a problem with its batteries on its first dive, which required it to be manually attached to its lifting platform. So does not it mean the submersible was faulty from the very beginning? When it comes to how they work, submersibles operate in a manner that is analogous to that of hot air balloons in that they use weights to descend. The concept of buoyancy is critical to the operation of these things in their intended manner. Before embarking on the trip, travelers are required to sign a waiver that prominently features the word death 3 times on the first page. This legal paper provides an overview of the various hazards that may be encountered during the journey. The passengers are given detailed instructions on the procedure to follow in order to safely bring the submersible back to the surface in the event that something unexpected occurs. These briefings guarantee that everyone on board is well informed and ready to respond appropriately to any situation that may arise while we are at sea. There are a number of other possible outcomes that could have occurred with the Titan, and each of these outcomes has its own set of difficulties. These include the likelihood of a power outage, fire, or flood, as well as the risk of becoming entangled in something. In the event of a fire, the submersible's systems could be rendered inoperable, and the crew could be put at risk of being exposed to hazardous vapors that could cause them to lose consciousness. There is also the possibility that a flood will result in an unexpected and catastrophic implosion. The company's first tourist excursion was conducted in 2010, transporting groups to Catalina Island off the coast of California. To enhance the tourist experience, Oceangate began bringing expert guides aboard the dives. Experts had warned about its flaws, but their concerns were ignored. Oceangate's ambitions culminated in the creation of the Titan Submersible, a vessel that would become a symbol of both triumph and tragedy. In 2021, Oceangate began taking paying tourists in the Titan Submersible to visit the wreck of the Titanic. The Titan Submersible was a significant achievement for Oceangate. It was designed to dive deep into the ocean and was used for various purposes, including research and tourism. One of the notable missions of the Titan was to create a detailed 3D model of the Titanic wreck and retrieve artifacts from the site under strict guidelines and permissions. Oceangate workers, past passengers, Stockton Rush, Paul Henry Nargeolet, and NASA astronaut Scott Parazynski, who praised the submersible's engineering and safety. With the Titan making waves in the world of deep-sea exploration, no one could have foreseen the dark turn that lay ahead. However, in the aftermath of the tragedy, past passengers who had been on the 12,000-foot dive aboard the Titan shared concerns they had with Oceangate's safety measures.
Oceangate shouldn't have been doing what it was doing. I think that's pretty clear.
Additionally, in 2018, 38 members of the Marine Technology Society's Manned Underwater Vehicles Committee had written to Stockton Rush expressing concerns about the way Titan had been developed.
The arrogance and the hubris that sent that ship to its doom is exactly the same thing that sent those people in that sub to their fate.
As the Titan descended into the depths, the crew was in high spirits, eagerly anticipating the wonders they would encounter. However, tragedy struck about 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive. Communication with the Titan was lost, and it failed to resurface at the scheduled time. As hope hung by a thread, a monumental effort was launched to find the Titan and its crew. News of the disappearance spread like wildfire, igniting a media frenzy focused on the race against time. The world anxiously watched as the countdown began, aware that the submersible's oxygen supply was dwindling. Every passing hour intensified the urgency to locate and rescue the stranded occupants. The authorities were alerted. The search and rescue operation was conducted by an international team led by the United States Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, and Canadian Coast Guard. Support was provided by aircraft from the Royal Canadian Air Force and United States Air National Guard, a Royal Canadian Navy ship, as well as several commercial and research vessels and remotely operated underwater vehicles. In the vast expanse of the North Atlantic, the search for the lost Titan submersible presented a number of challenges. The endeavor was made more difficult by the underwater topography, which consisted of mountains and valleys, as well as by the enormous pressure that the deep-sea waters exerted. Unpredictable weather conditions added another layer of difficulty to the search for the Titan in the enormous territory, which is twice the size of Connecticut, where there was very little information available. The possibility of detecting the submersible decreased with each passing moment, and it became increasingly unlikely that it would be found.
Experts estimate they have already run out of oxygen on board the Titan.
After 4 days of searching, a remotely operated underwater vehicle, ROV, discovered a debris field containing parts of the Titan, about 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. The United States Navy's sonar had detected an acoustic signature consistent with an implosion around the time communications with the submersible ceased.
Crews searching for the sub reportedly heard today banging sounds at 30-minute intervals.
Banging sounds near the wreck of the Titanic.
Underwater noises in the search area.
The biggest breakthrough after 3 full days of searching.
A loud bang on the hydrophones. Loss of transducer or transponder. Loss of comms. I knew what happened. Sub imploded. I sent emails to everybody I know. I said, we've lost some friends. The sub has imploded. It's on the bottom in pieces right now. I sent that out Monday morning.
It was concluded that the pressure hull of the Titan had imploded during its descent, resulting in the instantaneous deaths of all 5 occupants. This event was a stark reminder of the perils of the deep sea and the risks involved in ocean exploration. The loss of the Titan submersible was not just a maritime disaster. It was a personal tragedy for the families of the crew members. Their families were devastated by the loss. Hamish Harding had posted on social media about his pride in being part of the mission just a day before the tragedy. The loss was felt deeply within the maritime and ocean exploration communities. As we delve into the depths of the investigation, it is crucial to understand the magnitude of the events that unfolded when the Titan submersible imploded. However, it was revealed that the hull of the Titan, originally designed to reach 4,000 meters below sea level, had been downgraded to a depth rating of 3,000 meters after demonstrating signs of cyclic fatigue. Furthermore, Oceangate had not sought certification for Titan, arguing that excessive safety protocols hindered innovation. The experts pleaded with Oceangate to abandon their lofty aspirations and prioritize the laws of physics. They understood the immense pressure and strain that the deep-sea environment places on vessels. Cutting corners, taking shortcuts, and disregarding the principles that govern the underwater world was a recipe for disaster. In the depths of the ocean, where immense pressure can crush even the sturdiest of structures, there is no room for compromise. It is a realm governed by forces beyond our control, forces that demand the utmost respect and understanding. Yet despite these warnings and pleas for caution, Oceangate forged ahead with their submersible plan. Their confidence seemingly outweighed the concerns raised by experts who knew the dangers all too well.
You cannot take people down, it's irresponsible, and it could lead to catastrophe. Literally, the word catastrophe is in the letter.
There are only 10 vehicles in the whole world that can go 4,000 meters or deeper, and all of them are certified, except the Titan.
Titan was a ticking time bomb that could blast at any moment. The sub had reached the Titanic depth only 14% of its attempts. The troubling success rate was reportedly spelled out in the company's 4-page passenger liability waiver, which had to be signed by all 4 of the passengers who were killed aboard the sub, along with Oceangate CEO Stockton Rush. The waiver, which was reviewed by the news outlet Insider over the weekend, described the tourist vessel as experimental 3 times and said it successfully completed as few as 13 dives out of 90 to the famed site in the North Atlantic Ocean. As time passes, it gets more and more clear that this was nothing but a suicide.
Over why warnings about the vessel were not heeded. The Titan imploded, killing all 5 on board.
The hull of the Titan was constructed from carbon fiber that was sourced at a discount from Boeing because it was too old for use in the company's airplanes. However, Boeing stated they have no records of any sale to Oceangate. The pressure vessel of the Titan consisted of 2 titanium hemispheres with matching titanium interface rings bonded to a carbon fiber wound cylinder. One of the titanium hemispherical end caps was fitted with an acrylic window. In 2020, the hull was repaired or rebuilt after it was downgraded due to signs of cyclic fatigue. The investigation focused on understanding the factors that led to the catastrophic loss of the Titan and ensuring that a similar tragedy does not occur again. The Marine Board of Investigation analyzed and tested evidence, including pieces of debris, at a port in the U.S. The board planned to share the evidence at a future public hearing. As we turn our gaze to the storm that surrounded Oceangate in the aftermath of the tragedy, it is important to understand the gravity of the situation and the multitude of questions that arose. Oceangate, now facing a crisis, had to respond. The company's future hung in the balance, and its reputation was severely tarnished. The maritime exploration community, which had once viewed Oceangate as a pioneer, now questioned the company's practices and commitment to safety. The families of the victims, the public, and the maritime community sought answers. There was a call for a thorough and transparent investigation into the causes of the implosion. The design, materials, safety protocols, and decisions made by Oceangate executives were all under scrutiny. One cannot help but draw parallels between the implosion of the Titan Submersible and the sinking of the Titanic. Both events were tragedies that occurred in the North Atlantic and involved cutting-edge technology of their times. To hit the spike in the coffin, the ocean does not look at how rich, arrogant, or powerful you are, but it does favor those who respect science, physics, and safety. Thanks for watching, and let us know your opinion in the comment section down below.